Welcome to Real Money Talks, how to make money, manage money, and invest money. Your Real Money Talks host, Laurel Langmeyer, gets straight to the point about what it actually takes to make money and build lasting wealth in today's changing economic climate. If you're ready to get the financial results you've always dreamed of, keep listening. Real Money Talks is the right place for you. And now here's your host, Laurel Langmeyer.
Hi, this is Laurel, and welcome back to Laurel's Real Money Talks, where we're talking about how to make money, keep money, invest money. And this is a hot topic. You talk about the wild, wild west. I can tell you it is here. It is called the medical marijuana and recreational marijuana industries. So as Ralph Waldo Emerson says, no great man ever complains of want of an opportunity. See, does money grow on, weed, and does money grow on trees? And there's weed etiquette on TV now. I mean, it is a growing industry. It is like, the alcohol, it was the tobacco, it's the gold rush, it's equity crowdfunding, and it's here, and it's going to happen. So it's not a matter of whether you believe it or not. It is a business model that is extraordinary. One of my earlier clients wasn't available for a podcast today, but I'm going to be bringing her to a podcast. Her name is Jennifer Murray, just a beautiful woman, and she started the largest medical marijuana lab in Colorado. And did an extraordinary business with it. Colorado and Oregon, the most open. California, one of my dear friends owns one of the early dispensary licenses. Here in Nevada, where I live, the casinos bought them up. I call it the casino mafia bought them up very quickly. So restricting some barriers to entry. It is not federal. There are a lot of podcasts. There are daily messages. And this community is forming, whether you like it or not. It's going to happen. So I just want to kind of put it out there and, let's have a conversation about it. Money, like it's an enormous, it's a multi-billion-dollar, if not trillion-dollar industry. And, fortunes are made on many other plants today. But, the new gold rush, like I said, it's underway in the states that have cannabis that have been legalized for medical and or recreational use. So the majority of Americans live in states with such policies. Modern day, 49ers of every entrepreneurial stripe are looking to strike it rich. So whether you're a grower or you're a dispensary, whether it's delivery or drive up, it's incredible growth and race. It's a kind of a race to the finish line. It's the case of thousands of men who went, for centuries to pan their way to riches, in Sutter Mills, just like, in the gold rush, to find wealth in the cannabis business. It's an interesting one, and people bump into a lot of roadblocks. So the failure is arising from those who grow the plants to simply, do the process. It's just relentless intricacies of managing a successful business. So it is a very complex business. Banks will not take the money. Merchant services won't take your money. It's a cash business with what used to be an illegal substance. And ever changing aspects of compliance, which, prove all the way down to the county levels. So some counties from states to the feds all have a different opinion on what's going to be happening and how it's interpreted. So while some have adequate capital to launch the initial, steps required to have a cannabis business, few have the managerial acumen or the business expertise to sustain it. So it's going to be an interesting match. If you look at the people that are in prison for the possession of marijuana, they're the actual experts, but they don't have the capital. And there's a huge conversation on the racism of it, from the African-American and the Mexican communities who know a lot about it, to the whites who tend to have the money and business acumen, who come in and are either partnering or just trying to hire them versus, put them into businesses. I can't wait to consult people on this. It's going to be very fun on the business side of how to put together these joint ventures. Tending plants is one thing, nurturing an enterprise, so that it can thrive, especially with the risk factors of the product to the cash business, is an interesting and very, very critically untapped documented business. Colorado-based growth industries are leveraging cannabis, legalized by providing turnkey business services, exclusive franchise models to prudent cannabis growers who recognize the need for the managerial prowess to actually exploit the operational potential. There is so much to this business. The growth industries comprises of 3 divisions. So how to, lead generate, which is really the real estate division, to the, cannabis production and the facilities and the lease to the growers, to the customers who actually understand the product, the marketing, the cultivation of productivity, the customer retention, the compliance, there's human resources. There's just enormous sectors of business that are going to be needing to be known in this entire industry. It's interesting to watch, in conversations. I'm going to bring some of these experts, if I can get them to come to my podcast and under their code name, not their real name. But several people just in California really were on a run. They were on amazing growth. And the feds, the FBI specifically, comes in and shuts down their operation. And so, learning from surveillance to making sure you have your product dispersed, your cash dispersed, so it's not all in one place. The amount of robberies, the amount of theft, the need to have a concealed weapon permit to carry the product for your own protection. Enormous variables to this maze called, cannabis and dispensary growth and production. The economics of cannabis are extraordinary and, astoundingly, alluring. 10,000 square foot facility, accepting the real estate costs, might be like, 1.2 million in investment. But by the second year of operations, it has the capacity to grow 2,500 pounds. Each pound of dried cannabis can wholesale for $1,800, hard cost of $400. It works out to a $3.5 million company in a 24-month period. It's an extraordinarily high profit business. Cannabis has been used to treat arthritis, cancer, hypertension, obesity, sclerosis, Parkinson's, HIV. It's proven it's a healing plant. Again, the people who stand on the sides and the outsides of this are going to either make a lot of money or wish they got on the gravy train and the gold rush as they do it. It's interesting to talk to doctors, the doctors who are prescribing the medical scripts. Some of them have gone completely away from traditional practice. And for $500 to $1,000, we'll actually just do medical marijuana exams to write the prescriptions. You write 50 people a prescription, $1,000, you got a $50,000 a month business just writing medical marijuana prescriptions. You say, well, doctors, you have more ethics than that. Well, that's a judgment, and I can tell you it's going to happen. The necessity of compliance and the ever-changing compliance, really quarter by quarter at the county level to the city level to the state level to the federal level, it's unbelievable. The predictions are by 2020 that every state, or in the feds specifically, will legalize medical marijuana. And then there'll be the exceptions of the states who actually legalize recreational marijuana. And what that's going to do, if you liken it to a DUI, how much can you carry without being arrested for the possession of? Do you have to have a license? The amount of compliance at the local level. Think about when they took our alcohol drinking level to 21, which is ridiculous because we send our guys to war and they can have guns and they can do everything but drink until they're 21. Interesting. Most other countries are at 18 years old when they deem, someone to be an adult. So when you think about the drinking laws and the compliance of just the drinking laws and the DUI and the minors in possession to the same laws that are going to have to come into effect and be detailed and educated to the local authorities. There's an enormous amount of work and education and structure that has to be put into this industry. All that being said, I'm in. I want to really be on the finance side of this. I want to be on the investor side of this. It is going to be a gold rush to the finish line and looking at doing it. So any of you that are out there that are interested, go to AskLaurel.com, put in your name, phone number, and email, and let's get a conversation going at Ask Laurel. I'm going to be bringing as you continue to listen to my podcast as well as, stay tuned on my Ask Laurel site. Once a month, I do a lot of question answers, and I'm going to start questions and answers as well. I'm going to be bringing more and more guests to just, let's start these controversial conversations. It's a very controversial investment. I love it. I'm excited about it. And I'm passionate about helping any of you invest in legal, ethical, investments. And I say legal and ethical because I'm curious what side you stand on. So give me some feedback. Go to AskLaurel.com where we have the conversation about money. In the question box, say you want to have a conversation, you're interested, you'd like to be part of this group and consortium that I'm putting together that's going to support it. You're at Laurel's Real Money Talks. We'll be back soon. Stay tuned for my guests that'll be here in the cannabis conversation quite soon in the next few weeks. Talk soon.
Thank you for joining Laurel for this segment of Real Money Talks, how to make money, manage money, and invest money. To continue this new conversation and to find free resources to support your wealth creation, visit asklaurel.com/podcast gifts. That's ASKLORAL.com/podcast gifts. Thanks for listening and join us again soon. New episodes are released every week.